Hi everyone, welcome to the lecture number 3 of unit number 1 matrices. In this lecture we are going to discuss about the rank of a matrix by another method, that is echelon form method. Okay, for determining rank of matrix, in previous lecture we have discussed the definition of rank of matrix. Using that we have calculated rank of some matrices, but it is not convenient always to determine rank of matrix using definition, because for higher order matrices it takes time to determine the rank of a matrix using definition. So in such a case we are having some methods to calculate rank of a matrix. So one of the method out of in this course we are going to discuss two methods to calculate rank. One is echelon form method and another one is normal form method. So out of that first one we are going to start in this lecture, rank of matrix by echelon form method. Out of in echelon form also there are two echelon form we have. One is row echelon form and column echelon form. So we are going to make use of column echelon form here. Okay, so for understanding what do we mean by row echelon form, I have written here the definition of row echelon form. Means when we will say that matrix is in row echelon form, a matrix is in row echelon form if and only if it satisfies the following conditions: all the zero rows of that matrix appears at the bottom. You must have this situation there. If at all there are zero rows in that matrix, they must appears at the bottom. And the leading entry, also called the pivot entry, of a non-zero row is always to the right of a leading entry of a row above it. Okay, so when whatever non-zero rows we are going to have in that matrix, every non-zero row will have one leading non-zero entry. That leading non-zero entry of every row is called as pivot entry. That pivot entry of a non-zero row is always to the right side of a leading entry above it, above leading entry of the row above it. So whatever non-zero row will have above that row, and to the leading entry of that row will have on the entry of that non-zero row will have on the right side. So from the example you can understand it what is the meaning of the second condition. So if you have this matrix I have taken which is in echelon form, so it is having one zero row. Okay, zero row means all the entries of that row are zero. That zero rows must appear at the bottom. So here we have written all the zero row. We cannot have zero row above non-zero rows, otherwise that matrix won't remain in row echelon form. So all the zero rows of that matrix must appear at the bottom. That is, here we are having the same situation, and there are three non-zero rows: row number 1, row number 2 and row number 3. All the three rows are non-zero rows because every row is containing at least one non-zero entry. Such a rows are called as non-zero rows. Now we need to check their leading entry, means pivot entry, starting from the left. So this is the leading entry of the first row. This is the leading entry means first non-zero entry of that row. So this is the leading entry of the second row, and this is the leading entry of the third row. Okay, and if you consider this non-zero row, row number 3, the leading entry of this row is to the right of the row above it. You can see that the leading entry of a non-zero row is always to the right, on the right side of the leading entry of the row above it. So whatever non-zero row we are having above this row, its leading entry must be on the left and the leading entry of this row must be on the right. So whatever row we are having in the means at the bottom, that row's entry must appear at the to the right of the above rows pivot entry. Okay, so in this way, means like upper triangular matrix situation you must have there. Okay, it looks like an upper triangular matrix, but it is not an upper triangular matrix. Okay, here I have written the pivot entry minus 1, 3 and 1 of the rows 1, 2 and 3. Row 1's pivot entry is minus 1. This is the pivot entry of the second row. This is the pivot entry of the third row. Okay, and you must have this situation, means this pivot entry cannot appear to the left of this pivot entry of the above row. Okay, this pivot entry of this row must appear to the right of the pivot entry of the above row. So in this form, when you have your matrix and all the zero rows at the bottom, if they are high, if this zero row is not present here, still this is in echelon form. But whenever there will be 0 rows, they must appear at the bottom of the matrix. So whenever you have matrix in such a form, that matrix will be called as the matrix can be called in the row echelon form. Okay, such a representation of matrix is called as row echelon form of that matrix. Okay, now how we are going to calculate the rank of a matrix by echelon form? So for that I have written here, by performing elementary row transformations, we reduce the given matrix to row echelon form. So for reducing the given matrix, first we have to reduce it to echelon form, and here we are going to reduce it to row echelon form. So therefore we are using elementary row transformations only. Okay, after making use of the elementary row transformations, we will convert our matrix to such a form. Okay, that is called as row echelon form. Then the number of non-zero rows in the final row echelon form is called the rank of that matrix. Means whatever the number of non-zero rows we'll have here in that matrix, that will be the rank of the matrix. So if you consider this matrix, here we are having 1, 2 and 3 non-zero rows. So this rank of this matrix, you can directly say that it is equal to 3, because it is in row echelon form. One more example I have written here. This matrix is also in row echelon form. This is the pivot entry. This is one more pivot entry. Okay, clearly you can see that 0 rows are at the bottom. So this matrix is in row echelon form. So just calculate the number of non-zero rows in this echelon form. So number of non-zero rows is 2. Hence the rank of that matrix is 2. It is very easy to calculate the rank once we have matrix in the row echelon form. But for reducing it to row echelon form, you need to understand the definition of row echelon form. Means what kind of row, what do we mean by row echelon form, that you must know, and you must know how to perform elementary row transformation. Now how many elementary row transformations we have? Let us discuss that thing. These are the elementary row transformation that we have with us. Only these elementary row transformations we can perform on the given matrix. First one is R subscript ij. Okay, the meaning of this elementary row transformation is interchange of ith and jth row. Okay, the row number I and row number j will interchange. Okay, when we apply this row transformation. The second elementary row transformation is k into ri. It is, the meaning of this transformation is multiplication of ith row by a non-zero number k. So whenever we can multiply any row by a non-zero scalar k. The meaning of the third row transformation is Ri plus k times Rj. It is the addition of k times of jth row to the ith row. Okay, means we are multiplying row number j by non-zero entry k, and we are adding it to ith row. So after performing this transformation, third one, the change, which row is going to change? The change occurs in the ith row. So whatever row you are having at this first place, that row will get changed. So this thing is very important, that whatever row we are writing at the first place, that row is going to change after such type of transformation. So there are only 3 elementary transformations that we have, and these 3 only we can perform on any matrix. And after performing these elementary transformations, we have to convert our matrix to that row echelon form. Then only we can find its rank. So one example I have written here. So let us convert this matrix to row echelon form by making use of the elementary row transformations and calculate its rank. I have written the given matrix one more time in the solution. So for reducing it to row echelon form, we know it looks like an upper triangular matrix. So whatever non-zero entry you are having here, this will be your first pivot entry, and below this entry we have to make zeros. Okay, we should not have here non-zero rate, because next row's pivot entry must appear on the right of this row. So for getting the next row's pivot entry, we must have here 0. We should not have here non-zero entry. Okay, because we have that entry on the right in the case of row echelon form. So for getting row echelon form, we need to convert these 2 entries to 0. So we have to change row number 2 and row number 3. So we are changing which row? Row number 2 and row number 3. So for changing this R2 and R3, what transformations we are going to apply? Here we have 1, here we have 3, right? So what we can do? So very first, instead of directly making this 0, we'll take 1 here. Okay, so for that I will do the interchange of first and second row. Why I am getting 1 here? Because that will be more convenient for us to making other entry 0. Otherwise what we have to do here, we have to multiply by we have to divide by 2 and we have to do the subtraction of fractions. So instead of avoiding that fraction calculations, we'll try to bring 1 here if it is available easily. If we can take one, bring 1 here easily, then we perform that operation first, we take that 1 here. So after doing the interchange of first and second row, the new matrix will be equivalent to previous matrix. So we'll have 1 1 1 2, this row at the first place, and first row will become second row, last row as it is. Now it is easy to convert these two entries to 0. Okay, now we are applying that transformation, changing in R2 and R3. So how we are changing them? So for getting here 0, we must have here 2. So we'll multiply the first row by 2 and do the subtraction, and we'll here also, for changing this to 0, we'll multiply the first row by 3. So the correct transformations will be R2 minus 2R1 and R3 minus 3R1, and that will give us first row. In that case will be as it is, only change will occur in second and third row. So this will be the matrix after doing the subtraction of the two rows. Now here we are having minus 5. So first rows, this is pivot entry, this is second row's pivot entry. Clearly it is appearing on the right of the first row's pivot entry. Now the next row's pivot entry is not to the right of the second row's pivot entry. So we need to make this entry 0. So for that purpose, we'll change the third row by R3 minus. Now we are not going to use again first row. First row we have used to make these two entries 0. Now for making next row's entry 0, third rows, we are going to make use of second row. We are not going to consider again the first row in the operation. So R3 minus R2. If you perform this operation, you will get 0 here, and that will give us 1 1 1 2 0 minus 5 2 0 0 minus 5 minus 5 0 minus 5 minus 5 is 0 0 minus 2 0 minus 0 0. Now if you see the pivot entries, here we have the first row's pivot entry, here we have the second row's pivot entry, third row's pivot. Clearly every pivot entry is appearing to the right of the previous row's pivot entry, and there is no 0 row present. We don't have any row further, so we'll stop here, and this is our row echelon form. So once we have row echelon form, that will give us the rank. Okay, so just count the number of non-zero rows in that row echelon form. So all the 3 rows are non-zero, so the total number of non-zero rows in this echelon form is 3, hence the rank of the matrix, given matrix, is 3. So this is how we do the calculations. So very first, try to bring 1 here if the calculations are difficult. Even if you don't bring 1 here, if you directly make these two entries 0 without bringing 1, still okay, no problem. But we are avoiding the calculations of fraction terms. So for making calculations easier, we are trying to bring here 1 first. Okay, so after making the entries below this pivot entry 0, we need to check the next pivot entry, and the next row's pivot entry must appear to the right of the previous row's pivot entry. That care you have to take, and just keep on applying transformations until you get the row echelon form. And once you get the row echelon form, stop there and calculate just count the number of non-zero rows in that row echelon form, and that will be your final value of the rank. One more example I will do for you. Now this is the next example, next matrix. Now if you see, we don't have 1 at the first place, so we cannot bring 1 easily here. Okay, now if you see, if we add first and second row, 6 plus 4 is 10, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 6 is 9, 8 minus 1, 8 plus minus 1, that is 7. So the addition of first row is the third row. Again, the addition of first and third row is the last row. Okay, so whenever we have such a relations, we can directly make the rows 0. Okay, so means if we subtract from this row, addition of these two row, we can directly manage this, the row number 3. So row number 3 can be vanished to 0 directly. Row number 4 also we can make 0, because it is the addition of the first and third row. So what transformations we need to perform? We need to subtract from R3 the addition of first two rows, and we need to subtract from R4 the addition of first and third row. Okay, so if we perform these two operations in the beginning, we'll get two more rows, and from that two more rows we are subtracting these two rows. Okay, so that all the this I have not done separately, I have directly performed all the two operations together. Okay, that we can do. And after performing these transformations, we'll get the matrix 6 1. Only third and fourth row will change, first two row will remain as it is, 4 2 6 minus 1. This entire row will become 0, this entire row will become 0. Okay, and both the rows are appearing at the bottom of the matrix. Now here we are having first row's pivot entry, but here we don't have 0, right? So for only task is to make this entry 0. So for that purpose we can divide this by, we are changing what now, R2, we are changing R2 by, here we need to bring 1. So what we'll do, we'll subtract R1 times 4 by 6. If we multiply by 4 by 6, 6 will get cancelled, we get 4 there, and that will give us the 0 there. Okay, now let us see what we get after doing this subtraction. So this will get, after doing the transformation, 4 here will get 0, then 2 minus 4 by 6, 4 by 6, that is 4 by 6 into 1, 4 by 6 into 3 is 12 by 6, 4 by 6 into 8 is 32 by 6, and 2 6 minus 1 are the previous entry, subtraction. After subtracting we'll get these numbers there. Now this will be the first pivot, this will be the second row's pivot, and clearly it is appearing on the right of the previous pivot, and 0 rows we are having at the bottom. So this is the row echelon form. This is the row echelon form of the given matrix. Just calculate the number of non-zero rows. So it is 2 here, hence the rank of A is 2. Okay, now a few examples for practice. Try to find the rank using echelon form of these three matrices. So that's it from this lecture. In the coming lecture, we'll discuss the we'll do the more examples, and as well as we'll start the new method to find the rank, that is the normal form of the matrix. Hope you understood this discussion. If you have any kind of doubt, you can write in comment box. Thank you.